And on this Monday night, we have the Philadelphia 76ers down 1-0 in the series as they have home court advantage as the 6th seed against the 7th seed Brooklyn Nets, who upset them in game 1 of the series. We'll see if the Nets can go up 2-0 or if the 76ers will tie up this series tonight. Big game, were you surprised by the Nets once again winning a game on the road against the 76ers?
Well, obviously, the first round against Toronto, they showed no weakness on the road, and I was a bit surprised that they came out and won game one. But obviously, they're proving that away from the Barclays Center, they can win. So obviously, the Sixers know that. The Sixers are in a pretty big game now. Obviously, you don't want to go down 2-0 in the semifinals, especially against the lower seeded Nets, who have proven that they can win a series after going up 2 when they beat the Raptors in the first round.
The 76ers showed in the first round against the Celtics that even a 2-0 lead might not be enough, as they won both games on the road like the Nets did against the Raptors in Boston, though, but then allowed Boston to come back and tie the series. So if you're the 76ers here, you don't want to go into that where you go down 2-0. You want to make sure this is tied up after tonight. At least split here, and once again split at least in Brooklyn. And big game, we saw a good matchup between the point guards in game one, but surprisingly, Joel Embiid did not have a good game with only 4 points in game one. Do you think we're going to see that again?
Well, no, I think you'll see a lot better game out of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a star in this league, and it's very rare that he has an off night like he did in game one. Obviously, the two centers for Brooklyn between Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan both had very good games too, and obviously Kyrie Irving, who's played great this whole entire playoffs, played well in game one as well.
Now, the key in that game one was, oh my, Kyrie hits a fadeaway as the shot clock goes down. The key in that game one not only was Kyrie Irving, but we've talked about it. The Nets rebounding between their two bigs is the key. And Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan had great second halves against the 76ers, which allowed them to do very well after halftime. Oh, wow. And Jared Allen blocks Joel Embiid on the layup. That's already a great start for them out of their bigs.
But we also saw how poorly Tobias Harris played in game one, continuing his poor playoff stretch so far. We'll see if he can figure out what's gone wrong for him here in game two at home,
And so
as he
far,
misses
he's one
again
for
there.
three, but Embiid makes it. You know, it's weird. Tobias Harris, even though he didn't have the best game in game one, somehow that was his best game of the playoffs, maybe besides game two of the first round. But the weird thing was, Tobias Harris had to take more than 14 shots in game one, which you wouldn't expect having Simmons and Embiid on your team. And Kyrie Irving already 2 for 2 from three. He started off hot.
Oh, and Tobias Harris with a nice drive there and finished it over Joe Harris.
And big game, you think Brett Brown has discovered a mismatch or something that he likes for Tobias Harris in this series? Is that why he's letting him shoot so much in this? Wow, and the Brooklyn Nets
No,
on fire from deep right now.
it could be possible. Maybe he's a little bit worried with Embiid going up against the two big men down low with between Allen and Jordan, possibly double Embiid or just have great help side. So I'm not really sure. Obviously, maybe he sees something. Is there Richardson up in three? No good.
And that's a shot you want for the 76ers. Wide open threes, especially with how hot the Nets have been. The fact that the 76ers are only down three right now is a good sign. They're going to give it to Kyrie again. Wide open three. Misses his first shot of the game. Simmons in the post. He gives it to Embiid for three. It's good. This game is tied.
And
This is
Embiid,
a
we saw
much
Embiid
better.
didn't shoot very many threes in that first round against Boston, but here at the start of game 2 knocks one down.
Wow, and Kyrie Irving taking over this first quarter, though, as he could get up to 9 points early, as we're a little over halfway in the first quarter. And he does. Harris in the post. He's going to have to take a tough fadeaway. Steps back, can't hit.
Irving finishes again. Now at that time on a pass from Dinwiddie. And Kyrie up to 11 points, and now it's 4 for 6. And both his misses are on threes.
And big game, if you're coming out of the timeout, what is Brett Brown telling his crew to do right now against this Kyrie-filled offense to start?
Obviously, I think he's gonna possibly look to double, and or just have the help side be a lot better, or get a rim protector down there and stay down there, because Kyrie has just started driving the pace. There's a tough 2 by Thibault there. He's gotten open threes, and now Kyrie now has been driving the lane and scoring at ease as well.
Kyrie will go to the free throw line. And big game, we haven't seen Simmons shoot much in this first quarter. Are you surprised by that?
But yeah, we haven't seen much of him or Joel Embiid so far. Embiid has a 3, but otherwise, you just haven't seen much of the two stars for Philly. And you've seen the star for Brooklyn come out and Kyrie Irving and put down all the points for him basically. So it is pretty interesting. But we'll see maybe if they're saving themselves for the second half, or if they're just trying to get their team in rhythm. Is now Kyrie down to Claxton, throws down a dunk.
And early that free shooting percentage is going to be an issue if you're a 76ers fan. 75% out of the Nets in the first quarter. That cannot happen.
Well, now a lob. Kyrie, oh, a great feed there by Kyrie. It's Taurean Prince on the lob, lays it in.
Thibault will get fouled. The surprising thing right now, the 76ers aren't having a bad offensive first quarter. It's just their defense has not been able to stop Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's probably going to look for the last shot.
That'll make the second quarter run when Kyrie sits down to take a break. That'll make that a very interesting time in this game to see whether Brooklyn can continue to score and hold this lead, or if you see Philly cut into the lead while Kyrie's on the bench.
And that quarter, the first quarter is going to end 20-14. As in Brooklyn Nets start off hot in Philly in game 2. And big game, if there's been a surprise in the playoffs so far, it's the Brooklyn Nets. We know they had a great surprise season last year, but this season it hasn't been as great as they almost took a step down, even with the news of Kyrie Irving and KD joining them. Kyrie's battled through injuries as well as KD being out for the season, but this playoff so far right now, it's been a lot of big news for the Nets going into next season with a healthy KD joining Kyrie. Joel Embiid mid-range,
Yeah,
he can hit.
Obviously, it's been a very successful playoffs for them so far this year. Got farther than what they thought they were, and obviously, um, I want to follow there by Mike Scott. Obviously, last year with D'Angelo Russell, won a game in the playoffs against Philly, and obviously lost that first round matchup. And this year in the first round with Kyrie Irving, and the Sims, they were able to beat the 2-seed Toronto Raptors. And now we're up 1-0 on Philly.
And Torian Prince will get the lead up to 10 with that free throw. Korkmaz off a screen. He misses a three. The 76ers have been missing a lot of wide open threes or mid ranges. Well, the Nets have just been making their shots. Burks goes over to Embiid. He gets blocked by DeAndre Jordan. Their interior defense against Embiid, either off passes or off offensive rebounds, has been fantastic so far tonight.
And that's whether it's been DeAndre Jordan there down or whether it's been Claxton Jordan. As Claxton scores again there with Korkmaz on him, and the big men right now for Brooklyn just dominating Philadelphia.
Before this series started, we thought, as most did, the 76ers had the advantage with the big men. Al Horford is a true veteran in this league who can show leadership at any moment on any team. And they have a star in Embiid who could be a top 15 player in the NBA. Yet, this is the showing they're having against Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan. Jared Allen, a young defensive star in the league, but DeAndre Jordan's kind of aging right now, so it's surprising to see this Philly team suffering like this. Wow, and the Nets just are not going to stop scoring as they have 28 points, not even halfway through the second quarter. And Korkmaz misses again. Another wide open three, and these Philly fans now booing their team. And Jared Allen throws it down for a 16-point lead.
Great pass there from Joe Harris.
And Harris hits a tough mid-range. And now look at the field goal percentage, big game. I don't even know how the 76ers expect to compete when the Nets are shooting 11 of 15.
Yeah, that's not all that is Philly's defense, but a lot of it is obviously Brooklyn. Oh, now a lob to DeAndre Jordan, and a lob he finishes. Another great feed there from Joe Harris. Obviously, Philly just has not been able to stop Brooklyn on offense, and they haven't been able to keep up, and they're down 16 at home here in the second quarter of Game 2.
Josh Richardson fadeaway three, he hits. And 76ers have finally scored on their past two offensive possessions. LeVert off the screen, great pass to Jordan, and wow, he finishes through the contact from Al Horford. Big game, I don't think we've seen a better half from any teams besides maybe the Bucks or Lakers in their huge blowouts that we just saw in their game ones against the Heat and OKC. So this is very surprising out of the Nets still, despite how great they've been so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to see a team like Brooklyn really have a monster quarter like this, especially when you compare them to either the Lakers or Bucks with their star power. But obviously Brooklyn putting together a hell of a half here in the first half of Game 2, this semifinals matchup.
And Spencer Dinwiddie now hits a three to put them up 18. We're not even at halftime yet. And they're shooting lights out above 75%. Unbelievable. Seems like they're looking for isolation for Harris. Oni gets fouled. And Harris will cut this lead down to 16 with those 2 free throws. It's going to take a huge effort defensively to make a comeback in this game. Oh, and this could be a bad switch. But DeAndre Jordan's got to shoot right away, and he's going to score. Wow. The Nets bigs
Another
just
big.
unstoppable.
They just had no answer for the Brooklyn Nets bigs.
Simmons passes out to Thibault, wide open. He hits. And if you've looked at the 76ers offense, they've been getting to the free throw line, and they've been getting wide open threes. I don't think there's really any changes you need to make besides getting Ben Simmons and Embiid more involved in the offense. Wow, and Claxton now hits a three. I don't even know what to do if you're the 76ers at this point. Someone who shoots below 25% hitting a three, just unbelievable. About 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock. We'll see if the Nets can score once again. Kyrie, fadeaway three. No good, but Jordan's there.
DeAndre Jordan. Jordan with the offensive rebound and throwback.
44 points going to the second half. You cannot ask for a better half out of the Brooklyn Nets going into halftime. And as we go look at our halftime show stats, it's all about the field goal percentage for the Brooklyn Nets. 77. That is not a typo. With 13 assists. That is the highest total we've seen in a game at halftime. I don't think we usually even see 10 big game. What else do you have to say about this one?
Well, obviously you see Kyrie with 13 in the first half. He really started off Brooklyn in the first quarter to get their scoring going, and obviously the rest of the team has followed his lead. And for Philly, obviously they had 0 blocks and 0 steals. So I mean, not much can be said. Obviously Brooklyn had just played an almost perfect first half on the offensive side. We'll see if they can hold on this lead in the second half.
And as we come back into the second half in Philadelphia, the Nets, huge first half, shooting 77%. Kyrie Irving, 13 points. They are leading 44-26 to start off the second half. It's going to take a major defensive effort out of the 76ers, but they are still shooting 45%, so it's not been a bad offensive game. LeVert will extend the lead to 20 with that mid-range. Richardson fadeaway. It's good. He's hit 2 of those now in a row. He hit one late in the second quarter, and now he hits one to start off Philadelphia in the second half. Big game, were you surprised by the offseason move for Al Horford to join the Philadelphia 76ers?
Well, I think it attracted a lot of people. Nobody really saw that move. Everyone thought he was going to resign in Boston, but obviously he left, and they thought that forming a trio of him, Simmons, and Embiid with Tobias Harris would work, but it has not worked very well. And obviously, they lost Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat, and it hasn't panned out how they thought it would. Obviously, they got the 6 seed. They were a lot better last year. Simmons with a nice one-hand jam there, and
In big game, I think that might have
obviously,
been one of the first misses we've seen in a while. Sorry to interrupt. By the
no,
Nets.
no, and you're right on that. And obviously, for Philly, that off those misses are going to need scores, and obviously you saw Simmons throw down a dunk there. They're going to need more of that.
Oh, Tobias Harris goes around Joe Harris. We'll see if 76ers are brewing up something. And if they're going to do this, it's going to be off rebounds, pass, fast break. That's going to be the process, or steals or blocks. And like you said, 0 at halftime between both of those for the 76ers. Which against the Celtics, I don't think we saw a game where they didn't have at least a combined 6 of those in a game. And this switching on Brooklyn Nets bigs has been another big issue. As the lefty hooks, righty hooks, fadeaways have all been going in for Jared Allen, Jordan, and Claxton. And surprising here, even though Tobias Harris has a mismatch, you have Joel Embiid sitting at the three-point line, but he still gets the rebound. He'll go to the line after getting fouled by Jordan.
Comes Kyrie again. No good.
We'll see if the 76ers can score on fast break again. No, it seems they're going to slow down. Richardson fadeaway, and he hits, and this is the lowest lead's been in a long time as it's down to 13. And if you look at that, Richardson leading the 76ers right now with 10 points on 4 of 8 shooting big game. It just seems like a wasted opportunity out of their stars right now if they cannot come back and win this game. Here comes Richardson again, but he misses the layup. Wow.
Oh, and another turnover here by Prince. And Philly will have another chance to score here.
I think if the 76ers can cut this lead down to 8 to 10 by the end of the quarter, Nets should be kind of worried at this point. They have to keep hammer away on the offensive end, and their defense has been okay in this game, but it's not like the 76ers offense has been bad. Thibault fadeaway mid-range, no good. Tough
Oh, turnover on
fadeaway,
Kyrie.
wow.
Wow.
And
Kyrie cannot be stopped.
the shots he's been hitting this game, just that is exactly why they were shooting 77% at half. Wow, and Claxton's having his best game of the playoffs so far between blocks and scoring. Thibault will foul Prince, and they have a chance to extend the lead to 17 if he can hit both free throws. He cannot, and it'll be at 16. Al Horford gets it back down to 14. Big game, look at that field goal percentage by quarter. 50, 40, 50 out of the 76ers, and they're losing the game now by 17. That's usually unheard of when you're shooting that well.
Yeah, obviously we've just seen two very good offenses tonight, but one has been at an all-star level, and the other has just been at a pro level. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets have just it seems like almost every time down they've scored.
The Nets should have one shot, as well as the 76ers should have one shot. It's about 11 seconds differential on the shot clock. Musa for three. He can't hit. 12 seconds left. Alec Burks looking for the last shot off the mismatch. No, it's going to go to Harris. Can't get the foul. It's going to end 56-39 at halftime. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, as the Nets continue to dominate in this game. Big game. It seemed the 76ers are finally cutting into lead in the fourth quarter, in the third quarter, but they end the third quarter down 17. How do they make this comeback in the fourth quarter?
Well, you'll need to see a lot of that right there scoring. Obviously, they've had 3 good quarters so far. No, they're going to need some major defensive stops. They're going to need Tobias Harris to score. They're going to need Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid to really step up, take a majority of the shots, and make almost all their shots here in the fourth quarter if they want any chance of coming back and winning this game.
And it's weird. The Nets just cannot miss from downtown. 18-point lead. The 76ers have Richardson with 10 points. And I believe Tobias Harris has 12, and both are shooting over 45%. But that's been the issue. Simmons and Embiid just haven't showed up to this game. Big game. Do you think it's all but lost if the 76ers lose this game too, going out 2-0? Or is it going to be the continued run here by teams where maybe the road team has the advantage right now in this weird playoffs so far?
Well, I think the road team still could very easily have the advantage. So we'll see. I think obviously if this gets back to 5, I think you're looking at a very good game 5. But it very easily could also end in 3 with how well Brooklyn shot tonight. If they can do that again, and any other game this series is all but over.
Wow, and I don't know where Embiid was on that defense as he almost goes up to the free throw line to help on a driving Spencer Dinwiddie, and just the easy finish again by DeAndre Jordan as it's just been all game. Embiid just continues to be stopped by DeAndre Jordan, but he will get the offensive rebound score. They are running low on time here as we're around the 4-minute marker in the fourth quarter, down 16 for the 76ers. They continue to attack in the post as Joe Harris has been mismatched. Al Horford fade away, good. And big game,
Back
when's
to
the last
14.
time we've seen a team shoot 71% in a whole game? And sadly, somehow the answer is the Lakers just did this in game 1 against the Thunder. And the Bucks shot 65% against the Heat. It's just crazy what this second round's turned into.
Well, and something you notice too is it's been on the early game so far. They've seen teams shoot this well, and obviously that's when you figured the teams would shoot the best because the opposing coaches and people don't have the film on them yet or anything or enough strategy going into the series to figure out what they're going to do. You usually see that in games 2, 3, 4, and from then on. So game 1 is usually the biggest struggle, and obviously we saw that with the Thunder and Heat, but the Sixers, it's obviously here in game 2 that they're having their biggest struggle as Brooklyn just has eaten them alive as Allen throws down another dunk.
And this interior defense might be one of the worst performances by a team with this caliber of a defense like the 76ers with Embiid. It's just embarrassing, in fact. The best part about this for the Nets, they don't even have Kyrie Irving in right now in the fourth quarter. They did this in game one as well, and they ended up winning that close game 56-49. But now they're blowing them out by 16 in the fourth quarter, so they don't really have to do anything. Oh, one step. Oh, and Jared Allen will get the rebound. Wow, and the Nets, even in the late minutes of the fourth quarter, are
Oh, and a
not going
spin
to
by
stop scoring.
Allen.
Wow.
What a possession there by Jared Allen.
Embiid cannot hit on the three. And it just seems they're going to use this last 2 minutes to get up some shots for their stars. Harris for three, and they're up by 21, 70-49 in the fourth quarter. For a team to score 70 points, unbelievable, especially how the 7-seeded Brooklyn Nets. Nets taking their final possession slowly, as they're just looking at going back home to the Barclays Center for a game 3 that leading them to the conference finals. Oh, DeAndre Jordan fadeaway. Making the conference finals as a 7 seed does not happen very often. They could easily go into the history books with this team. And big game, if you're the 76ers, is the only way of winning this series, or at least getting back to Philadelphia somehow in a game 5. Going to be Simmons and Embiid averaging the numbers they did against the Celtics.
Yeah, they're gonna need that. They're gonna need their superstars just to play like superstars. Really, they did in that first series, and they haven't shown up here in the first 2 games. And for Brooklyn, obviously, you've Kyrie Irving really showed out tonight, but has played so well throughout these playoffs, and he's gotten so much help from Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench, Caris LeVert, and obviously DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen, and tonight Claxton as well. His 3 centers tonight just were the 3 big performers that really, after Kyrie's phenomenal first quarter, those 3 big guys really kept going and didn't let Embiid get going, didn't let Simmons get going, and that was all they needed to really get up big.
That's going to do it here from Philadelphia as the Nets blow out the 76ers 70-51. Unbelievable performance offensively, and they're going to take a 2-0 lead as the 7 seed in the East, as they are 1 game away from making the conference finals. We head into our post-game show. We're going to take a look at the Philadelphia 76ers. We talked about it. Richardson and Tobias Harris, these are the games they need to have when they have Embiid and Ben Simmons at least have average games. But you look at Embiid, he's got the rebounds, only taking 8 shots though, and shooting 3 of 8. And most of his scoring was either from free throws, 2 for 2, or off offensive rebounds, which he needs to get better post looks. And Ben Simmons, really disappointing, only shooting 3 shots, especially when he has a mismatch on him in Kyrie Irving. Anything else on the 76ers side, big game?
Well, no, obviously you see Tobias Harris finally had a pretty decent game. They shot 5 of 10. And him and Richardson led the team though in scoring. That's usually never a good sign when you have players like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Yeah, like you said, not much you can say. Obviously, they had pretty even outscoring between those top guys, but for Ben Simmons,
And we go over to the Nets. Wow, just look at the even scoring. We knew Kyrie Irving was dominating this game early as he had 13 points at halftime, but now he's up to 15 points total in the game as he only had 2 points in the second half. but it was Spencer Dinwiddie. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists off the bench. He's perfect from 3, perfect field goal percentage. And having 4 assists from Kyrie Irving, 5 assists from Spencer Dinwiddie, that's just a perfect night out of your 2 guards. Big game, what do you have to say about the bigs on the Nets side?
Well, yeah, you see it right there. They're all in order. Jared Allen had 10 points, 3 rebounds, shot 5 of 5. DeAndre Jordan had 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 6. And obviously Claxton had 9 points, 1 rebound, 2 blocks though, and was 4 for 4, including 1 for 1 from downtown. Obviously they just shot amazing. They went off. They got boards. They all had blocks. They just all played very, very well, whether it was together or on their own. And Dinwiddie stepped off the bench, and Kyrie was their man as the starter, and that's all they needed.
And as we even scroll down further, Karis LeVert, 7 assists, and Joe Harris, 5 assists. I know we complimented him on his passing into the down low into the paint to Claxton and DeAndre Jordan many times in this game, but to have 5 assists and LeVert have 7, this might be the best playmaking game we've seen out of a team so far in the playoffs. And that's going to do it from Philadelphia as the final 70-51 as the Nets dismantle the 76ers and take a 2-0 lead, 1 game away from making the conference finals. We'll be back soon as we'll have the Oklahoma City Thunder trying to tie up the series in Los Angeles as the Lakers hoping to go up 2-0 in the series. We'll be back in 5 minutes.